Insecure as me. Just relax, baby. Hello, hello, hello. How's everybody doing? Let me give it a little something to get started here. There you go. How about that? How about that? Thank you, thank you, thank you for joining me. I feel really good. It is the eve of my birthday, and I just wanted to shout. I don't know. I just wanted to shout out, give everybody a shout out, say how you doing, say good evening, and kind of close out uh, this evening of mine. I'm in the middle of cleaning up, as you can tell, in the middle of laundry actually, and just kind of getting it together. I'm getting prepared for a trip. I'm going to be heading out to Reno, and after Reno, I'm probably going to be. I might be a couple of weeks in Nevada actually. After a couple of weeks in Nevada, I think I'm going to do a week in Arizona, and then in Hawaii. I paused because an earthquake just happened. You can see my cat over here. Let's see, desk left. Nope, I can't do desk left. But yeah, there's look. He's looking out the window. He's looking over the balcony to see what the hell is causing the ground to shake. But yeah, you may find a little seismic activity here in Southern California if you check the internet. I don't know. Maybe I'll take a look on Google and see if there's seismic activity. How's everybody doing? I hope everybody's having a wonderful day. Get a little bit of scratching going on. Uh, what? Well, it's always good. It's always good. Biometrics. I want to say a shout out to Mika and Nicole and Lindsay, the ladies of Biometrics, and Rudy and Tony and Mike and Carl and the fellas as well. I really appreciate all of you. I can't do any of this without you. Um, what else? What else? What else? I wanted to talk about besides the whole kerfuffle. Oh yeah. That knucklehead with the Black American Party. I don't know, man. I think the guy is a bit of a grifter. But now we see some genuine, supposedly genuine Black American Party, or at least, I mean, Black Panther. At least they're wearing logos. They don't show their faces, and they seem to be barking at 7-Eleven owners and whatnot, and talking about the community this and the community that. I guess George Soros is throwing his money around, and he's trying to see if it'll stick on some authentic black people, because there seems to be a concerted effort to get the Black American community involved in this anti-black struggle. And personally, I advise against it. Put yourself in harm's way. We are American citizens, and ICE is really not our issue. Actually, ICE is trying to serve us. To turn this into some type of whatever thing, where we're just going to be rebel without a cause, or just anti the system just to be anti the system. Well, I don't know. I think there are better ways to spend our time, better ways to spend your time as an American. Oh yeah, well, here it is, January. It's the 20th of January. Tomorrow's my birthday. That's right. I'm going to be 41 for the 20th time. I think that deserves a little funny, huh? Yeah. And I'm enjoying life. I'm enjoying life in every aspect of life. I try to get my children to understand how to live life with gusto. Okay, speaking of my kids, shout out to Ivan. Ivan is now 40 years old. Can you believe that? Yo tengo un hijo con canas. I've got a son with gray hairs. And my daughter, Katie, hope you're doing well. And my son, Kai Kai. Kai Kai, I'm especially concerned about Kai Kai. But we're gonna be okay. Things are gonna be okay. You know what I mean? Just yeah. Whenever you need, go to the freezer, son. because there's ice, ice, baby. Doom, 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 doom. Doom, 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 doom. Well, I ain't gonna say no more about that. Let's see. All right, so today I'm just clowning. I wanted to talk about. Let me see. I wanted to talk about there are 3 basic speeches that I give when people come to me for neurofeedback training. You want to find out about my neurofeedback training, I suggest you go to biomedrxneurofeedback.com. All right? BIOMEDRXNEUROFEEDBACK.com. California Neurofeedback Centers.com. California Brain Trainers.com. And my favorite, Neurofux. NEUROFUX.com. These are the many different approaches that I apply to neurohacking and consciousness hacking. Yes, the brain is my thing. I keep my trusty electroencephalographic amplifier right here on my desk. And I think you guys recall I've made quite a few videos of different neurofeedback sessions. I might actually do a session tonight, but I don't want to overtax my graphics cards because I'm also creating some AI images. I'm always burning AI images. It's good for when I'm sleeping to let the computer continue to process images, or to let it train my hypernetwork. Right? Hypernetwork is a file that you can train, and I've trained my hypernetwork with my own image. That's why you see a lot of pictures that I create, AI pictures that I create with believable pictures of me in them. Right? Training a hypernetwork it's a bit complicated. You got to know what you're doing. But I'm about to embark upon a very, very busy time. So I'm going to be filming, I'm going to be broadcasting, I'm going to be live casting from laptops. In fact, you know what? I think that's the first thing I'm going to do on my birthday tomorrow. These laptops are all charged up. I've got three laptops that I'm working with at the moment. And I think I'm going to do a little bit of work on them and make sure that they're updated. Because, if they're not updated, if they don't have their Windows updates, then when you go to the hotel, if your browser is not up to date, or your version of Windows is not fully up to date, you may not even be able to log on to the hotel's Wi-Fi to update it. And that tends to be kind of a pain. So I do so much work with desktops that I don't think about that. But yeah, thanks for joining me. I really appreciated it. I just wanted you guys to have a little bit of dropping the bomb with your boy, the voodoo child. I hope people understand, the gist of me using that. I use that also as my ringtone on my phone, because I am the voodoo child. That's right. I'm from New Orleans. Shout out to my family in New Orleans. Shout out to all of you. I think Toya, my cousin Toya, I think my cousin Toya just had a birthday. And Taniko, I think Taniko's birthday is near mine as well. Either right before or right after or something like that. Shout out to Nico. Me and Taniko go way back. We all go way back. We go back to our mamas, who are sisters. All right. Shout out Elbert. Shout out Leilani. Shout out everybody. Bobby. Shout out Walter Fred, Vina, Vinoka, everybody. My grandmother had 13 children, and they all had kids. That was my mom's generation, and then we have a lot of kids. And now, when I go to the Blessed Barnes family reunion, I don't know the names of more than half of the people there. And I think it's a wonderful thing. I think it's wonderful when you have a big family. A big family is a blessing. Shout out to the Barnes family in New Orleans. Dom DeMarco. And the Lockett family. You know what I mean? Right there. Everybody knows what time it is. I sent a message to my brother, Sean. Shout out to my brother, Sean. Sean, how you doing, man? We're going to break a little glass in your honor. Actually, let's do a little funky funk. I think that's my brother Sean's soundtrack. That sounds like Sean. When he comes driving up. That's my brother Sean's soundtrack. When he steps out of the car, you know. Shout out to my brother Sean. Sean Maurice Lockett. Anyway. I hope you guys are having a wonderful time out there in New Orleans. Congratulations to Mayor Moreno of New Orleans. And thank you for doing what you're doing for the city. Thank you for getting it on and on and on. I appreciate it. You're getting off to a running start. I can see that from out here in LA. And I really appreciate it. Te complemento a todos mis amigos mexicanos aquí en Los Angeles. So let's see. Am I really going to go over this? Yeah, let's go over this. Let's go over this. Now, as you know, people come to me when they have neurological dysfunction. And, you know, it doesn't mean you're crazy. It just means, you know, the brain is a part of the body like everything else. And sometimes, you know, the brain suffers from certain conditions. And mainly, those conditions are related to neocortical dysregulation. When the neocortex is dysregulated, that means that you have like little kinks in the neocortex. The neocortex, of course, is the pink, wrinkly form of the brain. I mean, part of the brain with that. What you see on the outside when you look at pictures of the brain on the outside. Let me see what I can get for you guys. We got cameras, we got mics, we got commercials. I could have sworn I had map of consciousness. It was on another. I'll get it. Anyway, you know what the brain looks like, the neocortex. Okay? Neocortex on the outside of the brain. Sometimes, as a result of feeling intense emotions, we get little knots and kinks. We get little failures to circulate in the neocortex. Now, of course, the neocortex is divided. First of all, the brain is divided into two hemispheres, the left and the right. And people have theories about left brain and right brain activities. And for the most part, that's true, right? The left brain handles more linear or logical processing. We would say the left brain would be STEM and the right brain would be arts, okay? And the right brain handles more creativity. But there are physiological reasons behind this, right? Your heart is in the center of your chest, but it's primarily on the left, right? Everybody knows it's like center left. And because it's closer to the left hemisphere of the brain than the right, the left hemisphere tends to get more circulation. So everybody's left hemisphere is bigger than the right hemisphere. That's just the way we are made. That's just the way it is. And but neocortical dysregulation occurs on both sides. Now, yes, most of the mathematical, linear, engineering type reasoning occurs on the left, and most of the feeling and emotions and stuff occurs on the right. But believe it or not, some activities that you learn when you first learn them, it could be on one hemisphere of the brain, and then after you've been doing them for a long time, it could move, the control of that could move to the other hemisphere of the brain. There are many there are many peer-reviewed articles about the brain, and I highly suggest beginning a long period of research like me, because it never ends. I'm right down the street from Claremont College, and Claremont College, two of the universities on the Claremont College campus have neuroscience degree programs. So I think it might be a good idea, down the line somewhere, to go down there and do some graduate study at Claremont. I'm always in Claremont partying anyway, so I might as well go during the day and go to school. But what was I saying? Oh, now, we also have, the left and right hemisphere. We understand about the hemispheres. We also have the lobes, right? You have the frontal lobe, right? You have the motor cortex, which is like where the headphone band goes. And right behind it is the somatosensory band. Right behind that is the parietal lobe, which is is one of the places where people who are not combat veterans accumulate dysregulation as a result of intense emotion and stress and so forth. And we also have the templar lobes. The templar lobe, people consider this part of the head the temple, but the templar lobe actually goes all the way to the back of the head. And it is very, of course, it's obviously close to the ear. It is very associated with the ear. So the templar lobe also tends to collect dysregulation, accumulate dysregulation, or aggregate. I think that might be the best term. Dysregulation. Because a lot of the emotional trauma that we experience, or emotional memories that we experience, are closely related to sound, right? I mean, don't you we all have a natural cringe when we hear a baby crying. Many of us have an emotional response to hearing sirens. We all have an emotional response to hearing a car crash. There are just certain things that trigger emotions, either because they bring back memories of things that have happened to us in the past, or most of the time it's because of that, because they bring back memories of things that were screwed up that happened to us in the past. And behind the parietal lobe, or I guess we could say beneath the parietal lobe, is the occipital lobe. The occipital lobe it has a lot to do with sight. That's why it's called the occipital lobe, right? And the right eye is wired to the left hemisphere of the brain. The left eye is wired to the right hemisphere of the brain. The left hemisphere of the brain controls the right side of the body. The right hemisphere of the brain controls the left side of the body. Most of us aggregate dysregulation in the parietal lobe and in the temporal lobe and various parts of the brain. I mean, if you have a stressful life, if you're suffering from anxiety, stress, and depression, right? The three horsemen, or the unholy trinity: anxiety, stress, and depression. What most people suffer when they're suffering neocortical dysregulation. It is going to be primarily you can pretty much guarantee it's going to be in the parietal lobe, and it's going to also be in the frontal lobe. And but train all of the lobes. The objective is to train your entire brain, and you have to know how to do it. You have to know in what order to do it. That's very, very important, because it's your brain, and it's not, the neural amp is not a video game. A lot of people, a lot of my clients, they would come and observe me treating their children, and they thought that because they saw me do it enough times that it was only as simple as buying an amplifier and hooking it up. But you have to know what you're training, where you're training on the brain, and for what. So, someone comes in, for example, off the street. Oh, I forgot to mention, shout out to my military people, my brothers and sisters in arms in the United States military. I am a veteran of the United States Air Force myself, and I want to say thank you for your service. Thank you guys for your service. I am a part of the Homecoming for Veterans program through the EEG Institute. EEGinfo.com. This is the institute where I learned neurofeedback therapy. And with the Othmers, shout out to the Othmers. Rest in peace. I'm sorry, Sue Othmer. She was my teacher, and she was the most knowledgeable person other than her husband Siegfried and her son Kurt, of course. Shout out Kurt. In the field of neurofeedback, and they're still going strong. Thank you for training and teaching me, and thank you for teaching so many other neurofeedback clinicians. And if you want to try neurofeedback yourself, and you're not in Southern California, well, even if you were, my shop is closed right now. But if you were looking for neurofeedback therapy in anywhere in the country or anywhere in the world, I suggest you go to eeginfo.com. and look at their directory. You're going to find a directory of therapists that they have trained, and you can find them. Now, back to the new client. Oh, the reason I brought up the military is because when I find, it has been found that when you're dealing with military veterans, they tend to pick up an additional dysregulatory pattern on the frontal lobe. Because when you're in combat, right, you sleep with one eye open. You're in a constant state of hypervigilance, and that causes a pattern that seems to be like a diamond, like one here, and here. There's like a dysregulatory pattern that occurs as a result of combat, or as a result of the hypervigilance associated with combat. So we have to train the whole brain, and you have to know where, depending on the person that you're dealing with, where you should train first. Now, we can talk about two things. We can talk about location on the neocortex, the phrenology of the brain, of the neocortex, and frequency. So let's just say we're starting off with infra-low neurofeedback. Infra-low neurofeedback is feedback that encourages the brain to oscillate at a frequency of 0.05 hertz. That's slower than the rotation of the sun over the flat plane of the earth. And it's very good for helping reestablish regulation. It's very good for calming the brains of children on the autism spectrum. But you have to know where to do it and at what frequency. You have to know what you're doing and where you're training and for what reason. So the first thing you want to do, if a person is generally suffering from anxiety, stress, and or depression, is to calm that right hemisphere down. So you want to do some asymmetrical, one single channel training. I like to start with T4, P4, T4, then temporal lobe, area number 4, and P4, the parietal lobe, area number 4. And that's a good place to start. And then alternate the first few sessions with T3, T4, which is right above the ears, right to the back of the ears. Okay? The purpose of T4, P4 is that it calms down the right hemisphere. The right hemisphere should be optimally operating at a little bit lower frequency than the left hemisphere. It has a different purpose. And when you have a lot of neocortical dysregulation, you may be stuck with a primary operating frequency that is above alpha. That's like beta or high beta. And that's kind of stressful. I mean, it's good to be in the beta zone of 20 hertz, high beta, 25 hertz or so. If you're, listening to a speech or studying or taking a test or working or giving a speech or anything like that. But after a while, it can be stressful. You know how you leave work at the end of the day and your mind has just been operating at such a high, intense level. and then you get in the car, and then the intensity goes way up. You know, driving a car is very stressful. There's nothing written that says that the human being was designed to drive an automobile. And when you think about it, you're thinking linearly, you're thinking spatially, you're thinking still and motion. You're thinking with stillness and in motion. It's quite a complex combination of skill sets that is required to drive a car. We don't realize that because driving a car has become so much of a part of our culture that we don't realize it. But the act of driving yourself home is a little bit more stressful than the level of stress that you experience 8 hours on the job. That's just the way it is. And then you get home, and it's like, well, you know, I just want to relax. I just want to be calm. I just want to, you know, be curious. I want to read a book. I want to make love. I want to, you know, laugh and joke and be myself. But if your neocortex is severely dysregulated, it's going to be hard for you to reach that alpha state. Okay, Biometric CBD, it'll help you get there. Regular old weed will help you get there. Wine will help you get there. Beer will help you get there temporarily till you burn out. And but not all drugs and not all alcohol, but they will get you that alpha state that you're looking for. It's a shortcut. No judgment. That's called self-medication, right? It's called self-medicating, and people self-medicate. We're human. People self-medicate. I don't judge because I run a head shop, so I don't judge. All right, but I mean, of course, there are downfalls to self-medication. Addiction being one. Drinking alcohol and doing drugs actually causes dysregulation, but then so does coffee and a lot of other things. You're going to learn these things as time goes on. But the reason you want to go back and forth between T4, P4 in the beginning stages with infra-low frequency neurofeedback and T3, T4 is because with T3, T4, you're crossing all three cortices of the brain, including the subcortex and the brain stem. Now, if you have been suffering anxiety, stress, depression, or just anxiety by itself for a long time, then that means that the brain stem, that your brain stem is also experiencing a lot of tension. It's not just at the neocortex level. It's not just on the outside of the brain. So T3 to T4 evens out. It's basically a one-channel effect to kind of connect the left and right hemispheres again, but connect them at an infra-low frequency. So I just gave you guys a secret to my beginning training module. Now, what people don't training protocol. Now, what people don't realize is that neurofeedback is a bit like yoga or a bit like working out in that I sell my sessions in blocks of 20, but yeah, you're going to feel a lot better after 30 or 40 or 60. And I can't tell you that you won't, because it's like yoga, right? You can go through a course. I remember years ago I was on the television show Exhale. Steve Ross is a yoga guy. His television show Exhale. And we had to go and do yoga 4 times a week or 5 times a week, like every day basically, at his studio in Brentwood. And I got into the best shape of my life. I was just doing yoga back to back. I felt really great. I recuperated, and I got really strong. They tried to discourage us from bodybuilding, lifting weights while doing yoga, but I couldn't resist because I just look so good. But yoga is the kind of thing, man. It's like water. I mean, the more you do, the better you are, the better you feel, and the more you do, the more you're going to want to do. Well, that's the same thing with neurofeedback. But unfortunately, the sessions cost because this is my time. I'm giving up my time to help you, or my employees' time to help you, and I'm paying for their time. So you got to pay us. But still, the more you do, the better you'll feel. So let's just say you get through your first block of 20 sessions, and you're going T4, P4, T3, T4, and you're really, really calming the brain down using infralow. Then you might want to shift gears to two-channel infralow. As you can see, there are two channels on the amplifier here, right? Channel 1, channel 2, and ground in the middle. And you can train the hemispheres of the brain simultaneously. Two-channel neural feedback is obviously more powerful, more effective on the brain than single-channel neural feedback. And then we can start calming down the whole brain. We can go front to back. We can train the somatosensory band. If you're an athlete, the motor cortex. If you're an athlete, if you want to, get on the court or go do your thing. I train my own motor cortex because I'm a runner. As you can see, there's my medal from the last LA marathon, and so it's like that, right? So you get these first sessions out the way, you get these first 40 sessions out the way, then we can go into a more advanced study called alpha theta, right? We all like to be in the beta zone, a nice, what we call the yummy zone or a happy zone, but to simultaneously train at about 7 hertz theta and about 10 hertz alpha, you're relaxing the mind, and what you're really doing is you're putting yourself in a position where you can bridge the gap or bridge the critical faculty and connect the conscious mind to the subconscious mind. You can dig up repressed emotions, hidden memories, or whatever. And some people remember actual memories. Some people cry. A lot of people cry during alpha theta. I think it's not bad to cry during alpha theta. And some people go to sleep. I don't recommend going to sleep, but it's okay. It's okay. You can train through that. Once you now what does alpha theta do? What alpha theta does is it's like taking the emotional part, the painful part of anxiety, of having anxiety, stress, depression. Remember, these things are quite often, if not always, attached to specific memories of traumatic events that have happened in the person's life, right? So if a person, has a lot of stuff that they don't really want to face, they usually, when they come to me, they're too sensitive to talk about things. They don't want to talk about certain subjects. They haven't processed the catharsis. They haven't had a good cry. They haven't released the energy associated with those painful memories. Well, alpha theta neural feedback helps you deal with that. It helps you deal with that. It's like going behind the balloon and prickling it, not so that it explodes, but so that a little hole is made, and you're draining out the energy, right? The unprocessed emotions and the energy that is associated with repressed memories. We all have them. So now we're getting rid of physical neocortical dysregulation with infralow neural feedback, and we're getting rid of the emotional dysregulations, if you will, with alpha theta. And alpha theta is indulgent, is decadent, it feels really good, and the long-term effects on your personality are amazing. Why? Because you find yourself able to discuss topics that may have previously caused you too much emotional discomfort to talk about before, right? And the sensitivity around the issue. Well, because you have unprocessed emotions. But after going through your 20, 30, 40 sessions of alpha theta neurofeedback, then you'll find that you can talk about those subjects, and you can talk about all subjects without that emotional trigger happening inside, without that pain. Even the most painful subjects. And I've had, if you look up Biomed RX PTSD, Biomed RX PTSD on YouTube, you're going to find a video. It's got a blue camouflage cover with red and yellow lettering, PTSD. It's a very good video. I highly recommend that you check it out. It shows the work that I did. One of the veterans that I helped on the Homecoming for Veterans program, and he gave his testimonials before and after several sessions, and you'll see that they find that when they get through the alpha theta, that they can talk about the combat experiences that they buried, the memories that they buried can start coming back, but they don't hurt as much. They don't hurt at all, because you're silently taking the theta and alpha. Whenever you do alpha theta crisscross, when you look at the charts, you see the alpha line and theta line crisscrossing each other. That is really good work. That's processing. That's purging a lot of negative emotions, or emotions attached to memories. And then you can talk about those memories without feeling the emotions. So that's the gist of going through the phase of alpha theta. And then after that, we can go into what we call peak performance neurofeedback training. Now, we want to try to get you as close to clear, and shout out to my Scientology friends. I know Scientology people that have visited me at the Biometrics Health Center, and I don't want to step on any toes, but within Scientology, and shout out to Scientology and Dianetics, in their their feedback guided talk therapy, which is called Dianetics, right? They're taking a similar approach, except I think they call them engrams. I think they call the negative memories that affect your behavior as engrams. But either way, I don't know. I guess talk therapy with the assistance of an E-meter, which is basically measuring galvanic skin response, right? Your skin gets a little bit moist when you remember something that was painful. Not when you're feeling pain. When you're feeling pain, your skin can be dry as a chip. But when you're remembering pain, you're going to feel a little moisture. Strangely, right? When you sweat, like when I tore my bicep, right? I tore this bicep on Thanksgiving Day, and I can't remember what day it was, but you can see this gap right here. Installing a flat screen TV. Maybe it's the one that I'm looking at right now. Anyway, that hurt. It hurt so bad that I sweated. That was one of the most painful things I'd ever experienced. And when you sweat through actual pain, live pain that you're feeling at that time, then that means that the next thing you're about to do is pass out. That's how much it excuse my language, that's how much it hurt. But the memory of pain, the sheer memory of pain, does bring a little bit of moisture to the skin. And measuring that moisture is part of what is happening with the Dianetics E-meter, the machine that they use to do Dianetics talk therapy. We don't do that. We don't talk. We don't get into I try not to do any talk therapy. I'm not a trained counselor, but I have an easy to talk to personality, I guess. And when you're going through the work of helping someone get rid of the dysregulation in their own neocortex and to reach a state of wholeness, it's kind of hard for them not to share. And like I said, when you're going through alpha theta neural feedback, then it makes it easier to share because you can start coming in and, they come in and say, yeah, Devin, I was thinking about this and thinking about that. And I remember I used to shed a tear whenever I remembered, my dog dying or my mom or whatever. And now I don't. Now I can talk about it. I'm free. It's like I've processed the 4 stages of grief energetically without having to go through talking and sharing your stuff with a stranger and blah, 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 and digging up shit and going home and arguing with your mama and all this other kind of stuff. You can do it electronically. Let's put it that way. You can do it electronically. And I really feel glad and I feel proud to have helped a lot of people with a lot of emotional pain. Now, back to synchrony, or forward to synchrony. Let's just say we get to the point where you are no longer affected by anxiety, stress, and depression, and you are healed. You are a healthy person. Now, of course, you can stop your training at that time, right? But if you go forward, you can get into synchrony neurofeedback, where basically you're simply synchronizing the left and right hemispheres of the brain with each other to work together. Most of the time that doesn't happen. Most of our brains don't work like that. But when you do train your brain for a whole brain approach, it improves your focus, your concentration, your ability to operate at any frequency. So you wake up better, you operate better when you're awake. When it's time to get focused and sharp, you get focused and sharp. If you smoke a joint, you master your high. Seriously, it does actually work that way. Wow, I mean, you can study, you can read, you can drive for a long time without feeling the same sense of fatigue. Your focus, your stamina, your mental clarity. Man, you feel like you can take on the world. Yeah. And it works, man. It works. Now, when you're dealing with synchrony, once again, when you're dealing with all neurofeedback, there are many conversations to be had about physically where you train on the neocortex, and there are even more conversations about what frequency you train at, because everyone's trying to accomplish different things. I've had golfers come to me to improve their golf game. I've had pilots come to me, fighter pilots, come to me to improve their reflexes, their sharpness of mind. I've had couples come to me. I have a protocol within which I would hook the one channel of either the channel 1 or channel 2 of the neuroamp to the wife, and the other channel to the husband, and I'll split the ground and attach it to both of them, and I'll train them together. And that's called the honeymoon protocol. And you would not believe how amazing that experience is for couples. It's a great date night idea to come in and sit down and watch a movie together, and while you're watching the movie together, you're actually training your brains to be at the same vibe. And I've had customers leave my shop finishing each other's sentences. So I feel very glad to have been able to enhance the quality of these relationships. But you can do many things, man. I mean, you can stay at your yummy zone. You can, train yourself at 10 hertz, 12 hertz, which is really good. And the more you do it, then the more you're able to train. I find, and my man Dave Seaver at Mind Alive, shout out Dave Seaver up in Canada, has also found that if you train, and Siegfried Othmer, shout out to Siegfried and Kurt, that if you train a certain frequency, then the frequencies below there are easy to master. So I train personally at 50 hertz. That's the highest frequency that the software offers, and I love it. But it takes a long, and I mean long time before you can get up to that frequency, okay? You don't want to train at too high of a frequency. You can cause yourself constipation. There's a lot of different things that you can cause. You don't want to go through that. But if you can gradually get yourself up to, a neural hacking frequency, then I highly suggest that you do. Now, the frequencies that we're talking about here, we're just talking about brain frequencies. We're not talking about vibration. I want to be very clear about that. So let's take out the brain frequency. Where is it? Map of consciousness. No, that's a map of consciousness. Where is my brain? Wow. So I guess the brain frequency, let's see if I can add it. Let's see if I can add this image. There it is. Oh, wow. That wasn't what I was looking for. But anyway, you guys have seen that chart many times. You understand that 0 to 5 hertz is delta. That's when you're sleeping. That's the frequency bandwidth that's primary in your neocortex when you are asleep. You don't want to do that. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, around there. That's what you would call the that will be the theta zone, okay? This is the neocortex that you see right here, right? And above theta is associated with REM sleep, with light sleep, okay? Hypnosis, all right? The state that you're trying to get your patient into, your client into during hypnotherapy is the alpha theta state, and which means that you're trying to bypass the critical faculty so that you can get right into the subconscious, the alpha theta state, okay? And where was I going with this? And basically, when you get through that frequency above theta, right, then you get into alpha. Alpha is pretty much where we are when we are relaxed and awake, right? It's when you wake up. That's what you're supposed to be at, right? Around 10 hertz, right? We'll just say around 10, a little bit above, a little bit below that. When you get to 20 hertz, now you're getting to beta. The beta frequency band is associated with the level of neocortical arousal that you're experiencing at the time that you're listening to a speech. Like right now, you're listening to me. If you're listening to me on this video, then your brain is probably operating in beta mode, right? 25 hertz and above, 25 to 30, we consider that high beta. High beta is basically the brain state that you're at when you are solving a math problem, when you're actually computing, when you're actually thinking. Above 30 hertz is gamma. The gamma frequency zone, and that can go up to 100 hertz, but I train at 50 hertz. I train in high gamma. The gamma zone is the unifying frequency. That's the frequency that is associated with problem solving and conflict resolution and all kind of beautiful things. So when you have a well-rested brain and you are training with gamma synchrony, trust me, then you are able to master the flow state, or what we call the zone, right? You know how you hear about athletes talking about, I was in the zone, man, I was this, I was that, I was in the zone, right? Yeah, that's the flow state. That is the state that very experienced yoga, gurus and meditators reach, but it takes a long time to do, right? There's a very good synchrony neurofeedback video that's done by my instructor, Sue Othmer et al. and Siegfried, where they traveled and they worked with some Buddhist monks. And just watch the video, okay? Watch the video, because it's important to get the feedback from lifelong meditators about the effects of neurofeedback and how it compares to serious, intense meditation done by a professional, right? I mean, you would consider a monk, right, to be a professional at meditation, at least, right, at the very least. So, there you have it. We start with alpha theta. We then move into, we start with infralow. We then move into alpha theta. Then we get into gamma, right? So we get rid of the neocortical dysregulation. We get rid of the emotional junk as much as we can. And then we move forward to training the brain for peak performance. Now, we're not only talking about frequency, we're also talking about where you're training, location on the brain. That's another long-ass video, or a series of long videos. And I don't really have the time. I'm about to crash right now. It's 8:44. I'm about to crash right now. But that's where we get started. Okay, thank you for watching. Now, I'm going to show you these charts just a little bit, because the charts, we're going to get into the charts tomorrow on my birthday. We're going to get into the charts. We already went through all of the frequencies without me showing you the chart of the neurofeedback frequencies. Okay, now we're getting into vibrational frequencies. Okay, and I'm going to give you a little preview here, right? So this is what we're going to look at tomorrow, right? This is not the frequency that we're talking about when we're talking about neurofeedback. That's not what we're talking about. This is not that, okay? There we go. This is not that. This is your vibration. Where are you? Where are you at? Where are you? What is your vibration as a human being? And you know what? That brings me to another subject. One of the challenges of dealing with the brain and the issues of the brain is that when a person goes beyond a certain threshold, their dysregulation causes serious changes in their personality and in their character as well. But when my clients come in off the street, I don't know them, so I don't know what kind of character they're dealing with to begin with, right? I don't know their parents. I don't know what type of character they were raised to have in their home, in their family, in their culture. However, when you go to 12-step meetings, Alcoholics Anonymous or Drug Addicts Anonymous or Sex Addicts Anonymous, not that I would know about any of those, but when you go to the 12-step programs, people are bringing their crap out, right? They're bringing their crap out to the surface. And you kind of grab on to the vibration that everybody else is at. You may not share when you first go to your first 12-step meeting, but eventually on a vibrational level, the vibration of where everybody who is suffering from addiction and trying to get out of it sinks into you by hearing everyone else share. And then eventually you want to share. And it's a wonderful thing. And then you share. But the stories that they share are often stories about how their character was negatively disaffected by their addiction, right? Oh, I stole from this person and I did that and I hurt this person and I robbed that person and I slapped that person and I had this argument and I lost my job and people don't trust me anymore and whatever. That does happen. That does happen. And that too, right, will be resolved when you resolve the neocortical dysregulation and the emotional dysregulation. That will solve itself in time with work. But in the meantime, Devin, as the practitioner, I am still dealing with someone who is in a miserable state, and they don't know that I know that they're in a miserable state because they don't know that I know because they don't have an understanding or appreciation for the experience that I have, the knowledge, the training, the education, and the experience that I have, and how I know my way around the human brain, right? And so they think they can gaslight me, they think they can lie to me, they think they can play games, or they think that I am at their level emotionally, and I'm not. I don't lord my own level of having my shit together over my clients. I just don't do that. I just don't do that, right? I mean, I think it should be self-evident by dealing with me. But sometimes it can be challenging, man. Even with veterans, man. Even with veterans. Sometimes it can be challenging because, when the person is severely dysregulated, they can have a short temper. They could be a klepto. I mean, there's a lot of things you don't know. It's the brain, man. It's the brain. It's the brain. And so, working through it, I don't mind doing that. It does take time, right? You have to do your sessions in close interval. You have to do a lot of sessions. You got to do your sessions in bulk boxes of 20. But the point I'm trying to make is that the character of the client could be disappointing in the process. I'll just put it that way. That's a until they get better. And being a healed person, you want, once you become healed, then you have patience, right? You start to become more of a compassionate and patient person. So, you can see your clients with love and understand, hey, I was where you are, just stick with it, right? I can't train it all the way in one day, but if you keep coming, you are going to notice the change. That's why we sell the training in blocks of 20, and that's why the training is the money that you pay is non-refundable. All right, so if you are still in a very, very low frequency, we're talking about life frequency, not brain frequency. We don't get to this chart. Until we have sufficiently gotten rid of the neocortical dysregulation, and at least through some of the alpha theta work. All right, but a lot of times you see people. All right, now this map, right? You see the name of the level, the energetic log, predominant emotional state, view of life, the God view, their view of God, and the process. I love living by the train. It makes this neighborhood so lively. We're not going to go over this because this is going to take a long time for me to go over. But I just wanted to give you a preview so that you understand that once we get you past the neocortical dysregulation, or like in Scientology, once you are a clear, I don't know if those are, I don't know if that's a direct translation from one to the other. So I don't want to do any copyright shit with the Scientologists. But anyway, when a person is here in the survival paradigm, below that red line right there, right? Man, it's kind of hard to deal with them, man, because that's when you have the dark triads. That's when you have narcissistic, Machiavellian psychopaths. And you know, look at the names of the levels: pride, anger, desire, fear, grief, apathy, guilt, shame, right? And you feel a lot of that. And I've known people that have been there, and I try to let them know that there are higher planes and we can climb up, and it will be fun getting there. It is possible. It will be fun getting there, but it's going to take work, okay? Anyway, I don't want to keep going. You can see, I'm sure you can freeze the video, all right? You can freeze the video. You can check it out. You can look for the map of consciousness on the web. And I've got another one which is just like it, which illustrates the different vibrations in a very beautiful way. I really like this one, right? You see? Same thing, right? I like to say up here, peace, joy, and enlightenment, right? Because I like to think and come up with ideas. I like to create businesses and whatnot. I like using that energy. And enlightenment, peace, joy, love, reason, acceptance, and willingness. I would say above acceptance, reason, love, joy, peace, enlightenment. And there are ways to get there. There are ways to get there. That's all I wanted to say. So I guess I just wrapped up the first one and a half speeches, the first 1.5 talks that I have with my clients when they come to me for neurofeedback, right? The first 1.5 speeches. Tomorrow I'll do the other half. Tomorrow I'll do the other half in the morning while I'm doing neurofeedback. Yeah, I'm going to get up and do a neurofeedback session on myself. It's been a minute. And I don't want to do it right now because I'm already tired. I'm going to bed. But I want to thank you guys for watching me. The apps are growing. I appreciate it. I like to show you guys the commercials, but I'll show them to you on the way out when I'm shutting down. Yeah, not quite sure why I have that wave there. I'm gonna get that one, yeah, off of there. All right. So let's see. Maybe I can let you guys see at least the job site route video, one of them instead of all 4 of them, before we go. A word from our sponsor.
Food trucks bring life to city streets and satisfy cravings wherever they go. But managing a food truck's route, staying connected with customers, and securing consistent parking can be a challenge. That's where JobSite Route comes in, the ultimate solution for food truck management. At JobSite Route, we've developed cutting-edge web and mobile apps that work together to optimize your food truck's journey. With the Food Truckers app, you get a GPS-enabled tool that maps out logical, efficient routes to construction job sites and recalculates as new locations are added or removed. But that's not all. The app empowers food trucks to receive pre-orders from both construction site patrons and regular street diners, process payments seamlessly, schedule estimated arrival times, and communicate directly with contractors, diners, and even other food trucks. For contractors, the JobSite Route app is a game changer. They can view the live GPS locations and route schedules of all food trucks, pre-order meals for their team, request specific arrival times to keep their crew well-fed and productive. With the web interface, contractors can easily manage their profiles, update payment information, and even organize catering events with food trucks. And for regular street diners, our civilian user platforms, StreetGrubber.com and CurbDiner.com, make food truck dining more convenient than ever. Users can Discover food trucks on their route. Pre-order meals for quick pickup. Rate and review their favorite trucks and connect with other foodies. The Food Truckers web interface makes business management simple. Update your profile, menu items, prices, and pictures, all in one place. We keep it affordable and transparent. Contractors, $100 per job site per month. Food trucks, $100 per month plus 10% of pre-order sales. Civilians, $100 per month for adding custom addresses to the route. With Job Site Route, everyone wins. Food trucks have continuous parking and steady sales. Contractors keep their teams fueled, and diners enjoy the best meals wherever they are. Join the revolution today. Visit us online and download the app to get started.
All right. I like messing around with the music. Actually, you know what? Let's go to something funkier. So anyway, I'm getting ready for my birthday. I'm going to go get some rest. I want to thank all of you guys, especially the people who know me and love me enough. My cousin Vanoka, my boy Elton Hydell, what's up? My Follies, my people out in New Orleans that know me and they know my birthday is coming up and they hit me early for my birthday. I really, really appreciate that. I love you guys so much. And if I don't have time to thank everybody, please understand that I appreciate you telling me happy birthday. I love you. I love you with all my heart. I never ceased to give love freely because I believe that love and forgiveness should be given freely. And yeah. I mean, I just love you guys. You guys bring a great sense of purpose to my life, Yeah. And those are the things that we contemplate on our birthday, right? Having a good quality of life, self-efficacy and self-worth, the combination of which is essential for self-esteem. So I love you guys. I'm going to bust another commercial because, I have another app. It's called Labor Dia. So please hold on. I'm not going to let you guys go just yet. It's not 9 o'clock yet. Another word from our sponsors.
In the dynamic world of construction, where timelines are tight and projects demand agility, having reliable and efficient labor at your disposal is critical. Enter Labor Dia, the ultimate app for streamlining your workforce needs. This innovative platform revolutionizes the way contractors connect with skilled day laborers, saving time, reducing hassle, and enhancing productivity on your construction sites. Labor Dia empowers contractors by putting the control in their hands. With just a few taps, you can post the location of your construction site along with the rate you're offering for day labor. Laborers in your area will immediately see your job posting, complete with GPS indicators for easy navigation. This means no more waiting for days to find reliable workers. Labor Dia ensures you're matched with laborers who are ready and eager to work, whether that's right now or at the crack of dawn tomorrow. What sets Labor Dia apart is its seamless integration of technology to simplify your operations. The app's payment system, featuring PayPal and Zelle, eliminates the need for cumbersome cash transactions. Pay your workers directly and securely through the app, saving time and ensuring transparency. Plus, with Labor Dia's mutual rating system, you can build a network of trusted laborers. Rate workers based on their punctuality, skills, and professionalism, and gain valuable insights from laborers who rate your job postings and site conditions. This feedback loop fosters accountability and trust on both sides, creating a stronger and more reliable workforce ecosystem. Safety and compliance are at the forefront of Labor Dia's design. By offering tools for verifying worker profiles and guidance on labor laws, the app helps you maintain legal and ethical standards on every project. Additionally, features like geofencing ensure precise location tracking, so you know your team is where they need to be, when they need to be there. Labor Dia doesn't just make your job easier, it helps you run your business smarter. Use the app to track payment history, analyze labor costs, and optimize your hiring strategy based on real-time demand insights. Whether you're managing a small renovation or overseeing a large-scale development, Labor Dia provides the flexibility to scale your workforce up or down with ease. In today's competitive construction industry, staying ahead means embracing tools that simplify and enhance your operations. Labor Dia is not just an app. It's a strategic partner that empowers you to focus on what you do best: building. Don't let labor shortages or inefficiencies slow you down. Join Labor Dia today and experience a smarter, faster, and more reliable way to manage your workforce. With Labor Dia, the future of construction staffing is in your hands.
All right. Yes. So, yes, this is a very happy birthday for me. And here's Neon. He's very camera shy. You know, I never knew a cat would be camera shy. Or how would he even know what the camera's pointing at, right? But he doesn't like his face to be seen on camera. Whenever the camera comes back on, he like turns away. He's like, "Oh, I like you to pet me, but I don't want to be on camera. I'm shy." This is Neon Skireel. He was named by my son Kai, Neon, and then we gave him two names because he answers to Neon and he answers to Skireel, and he's the best orange tabby in the world, right, Neon? Look at his tail wagging. He loves sitting on top of my head. Neon. Have fun, Neon. So thank you guys for watching me. I was gonna do a neural feedback session, but I'm really not. I'm gonna play with Neon a little bit and maybe watch some more YouTube and go to sleep. As always, you know, I want you guys. Well, let's see what kind of music we want to play for this one here. No. That's some ill, sick shit. Anyway, I'm gonna go to bed. And enjoy the rest of my birthday eve. I want everybody to stay kind, because you know kind is not only the new sexy, kind is the only sexy. I want you to stay blessed, and I want you to stay healthy. And if you can't do that, anyway, I love you guys. You guys are gonna go out with a siren, as always. There's always sirens here. Have a wonderful night, and I'll see you guys on the flip flop. Peace.